Hey, I'm Daniel Hauge. I am an author and entrepreneur. I'm about to be on the Prosperity Show, and we will talk about everything about values. We'll talk about how entrepreneurs can eliminate wasted potential so they can maximize their businesses and their lives. And I'm sure it's going to be a great talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we have a remarkable guest who's not only a best-selling author and an entrepreneur, but also the founder of Passion for Achievement. Now, Daniel, how are you doing, my man?
And man, thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this. I think we'll do a incredible episode, and I'm happy to be here.
You know what? I'm actually even more excited. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. You're the first person from Denmark that I've actually had an opportunity to have a chat with. So I hope this is gonna be a good one because then this will leave a lasting impression of what people in Denmark are like and what we can expect from the Danish. Yeah, are you up for the challenge?
Absolutely, I better perform than if I speak for the entirety of Denmark. I'll do my best to make it good.
Absolutely. Well, that's just between you and me. But for those that are watching right now, this Danish knight is on a mission to help online 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs design a world-class life where business and other key aspects synergize seamlessly. Now, wouldn't that be nice? So many people are starting their businesses and are failing because maybe their health, their wealth, and their mindset is not in the right place. And I think Daniel is the guy to go to when you need to put all of those things so that your engine is firing with all cylinders. Now, Daniel, I could go on and maybe ruin your reputation before you've even started as the Prince of Denmark. Tell us a little bit about yourself and yeah, how you actually got started with your mission, passion for achievement in just a few sentences.
So in a few sentences, I had a very different past, a very rough past, and I was getting off track in life in general, not just with my career, but in life. And I decided that I was gonna either give up on life or I was gonna go full on and build the best life that I possibly could. I wanted a world-class life. I wanted everything. I wanted the career, the health, the relationships. I wanted all of it. And that decision has led me to where I am today.
Fantastic. And just give us a glimpse of what the entrepreneurial scene is like in Denmark. Is it like Silicon Valley, or are you guys sort of like right getting started?
I feel like we're doing we have some big entrepreneurs. We have the guy behind Just Eat and stuff like that actually comes from Denmark. A lot of people don't know that. Um, on the smaller, small business scene, I feel like we are maybe a little bit behind the US. Oftentimes I'll see certain ways of advertising and marketing in the US, and that's my I'm global, so I study that a lot and learn from that. And then maybe 6 months later, I'll see a lot of Danish people doing all of that, but in Danish in the Danish market. So it seems like we're getting a lot of inspiration from the US and the UK, and yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you can't hit a target that you can't see. So if it's not at home, you obviously look at other markets to see what other people are doing and maybe replicate their success. Now, what was it like growing up for you?
So I actually had some death in the family, and that put me off track a little bit at a very young age. I lost my father when I was 11 years old after he'd been fighting cancer for a bunch of years. So after that, I had a little bit of struggles, or a lot of struggles, I should say, staying focused. In school, I couldn't concentrate. I was doing okay in school when I tried, but it didn't interest me, and I couldn't focus. So I started hanging out with, the classical tale of hanging out with the wrong people because you're miserable, and started getting involved in alcohol and smoking, stuff like that at a very early age. And man, I was and that would just spiral down. And so in my late teens, I was at a point where nothing was going for me. And when I say nothing, I feel just about nothing was going for me. Um, I remember I was in a cute little vacation home with some of my buddies. We were just hanging around, just drinking a beer or something like that. And one of my friends came up with the fun little game of how old do you guys think you're gonna be? Do you guys think you're gonna be 80 or 90? And we would go around in a circle and people would say, I think I'm gonna be 90. I think I'm gonna be 80. And they asked me, and I just said with the coldest face I've ever had, I said, 21. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, there's no way I'm making it past that. Because at this time we're talking drug abuse, we're talking a little bit of crime, we're talking all of that. And I was just that scared me that that was my immediate answer. So I decided, okay, either I'm gonna just keep going down this way, this route where I feel confident I'm not gonna make it past 21 if I keep going this way, or I'm gonna change things around. Now, if I am gonna change things around, I'm not gonna just build something that's acceptable or something I can tolerate. I'm not gonna build a mediocre life that is okay but not great. If I'm doing this, so either I give up on life or I want everything, you know. Either I have nothing or I'll go truly all in on building the world-class life. And and I decided to go the route that I've chosen, which was build the amazing life because I wanted to. For my family and my friends, all of that, I figured that was the right thing to do. And ever since then, man, I just have not really looked back. I just pedal to the metal.
Fantastic. All right. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but did you make it past 21 then?
I did. I am now 24 and I love my life. And even though perhaps I didn't have nothing back then, I still had some family, I still had all my limbs, I still had my, all of that. And perhaps I don't have everything today. There's still, you know, gigantic goals and ambitions on my board, but it certainly feels like I have gone from nothing to everything. It really does. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Absolutely.
Fantastic. What was the relationship like with your dad? And what sort of impression did he leave on you?
Oh man, my dad was my hero. Absolutely. He was incredibly intelligent. Unfortunately, he never really got to use it because he, just like I ended up doing, got off track in life. He also ended up in some bad stuff. So he was a warehouse worker up until the point where he got really sick. But his values, man, his human values were absolutely incredible. Like he was all spectrum of man. Like he was the gentle, he could be empathetic, he could listen, he could talk about emotions and all of that. He could also protect his family and friends when they were out. They all knew if he was there, they were safe. So he was the entire thing of entire spectrum of man is what I call it. And I aim to be that as well. And yeah, he certainly instilled some great teachings in me, even though he got sick when I was like 9 already. So yeah,
Fantastic. Now, Daniel, if your dad was still here today, what would you say? What kind of a man have you turned out to be?
that is a very good question. And I'm not sure, but I feel very confident he would be proud. I think he would do his signature smile and be like, that son of mine or that boy of mine, he really did it. He's incredible and I'm proud. I think he would say something like that. At least that's what I like to think he would.
Wow. And if you had an opportunity right now to send that message to him, what do you want to tell him?
I would probably tell him that he could stop worrying about me, because if I was him, I would be worrying a lot when I was in my teens and stuff like that. But there's no need to worry about me anymore. I've made it. I feel like I've made it in more ways than just the business or whatever. I feel like mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, I feel I'm in a good place, and I feel like obviously you can have adversity in life, but I'm very confident I'll never be where I was in my teens. So he can stop worrying.
I bet he's on your side. Thank you so much for doing that with me. Now, Daniel, you obviously shocked yourself that at that tender age you did not even have any hopes past 21, and you must be freaking out that wait a minute, now I'm 24 and the little me that never thought any more of myself really didn't give me
Yeah.
credit. um Tell us how you actually managed to turn that around, because you had given yourself a really short lifespan.
Absolutely. So the first thing was I got obsessed. I didn't get interested. I didn't get focused. I got obsessed with personal development. I would start asking, for Christmas, for my birthdays, all my wishes were different books on personal development. We're talking learning from failure, we're talking productivity, we're talking all of that. I got obsessed. And I was still living at home for the first many years of this because I was in my teens when I decided to turn things around. And and so, but I dropped out of school, which I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it also wasn't a bad thing for me at the time because I started working a lot. I was a cashier by day. I had 11-hour shifts pretty much every day. And then oftentimes in the weekends, I would be a dishwasher, just do whatever job I could. The money that I made, I didn't really have rent or car payments or anything like that because I was still young and living at home. So I just poured it all into books and courses and seminars and mentorship and all of that on personal development. And that obsession will probably be with me for the rest of my life. And then the more I got into personal development and the more I got into this idea of building a world-class life, it just kept showing up, this idea of entrepreneurship. It just seemed like every entrepreneur I admired cared about personal development, and everyone that cared about personal development was in some way, shape, or form an entrepreneur. It just seemed to really be a really powerful synergy. And so I then started studying still personal development, but I started studying books and courses and all that on on entrepreneurship as well.
Fantastic. I mean, obviously, people that, make their own choices will definitely make the choices towards their health, their mindset, and everything else, that comes along with it. And kudos to you for choosing yourself, because some people would have just kept going down that downward spiral, or on a race to the bottom, and they'll actually be winning that race. So many people don't have the brakes to put a stop to that. Now, you've mentioned what you're now doing is helping entrepreneurs design that world-class life that you went through and sort of designed, and you've elaborated that you're also still learning and you're going through, but you could always teach people that are maybe 10 or so steps behind you, or other people that are in the race alongside with you. Could you maybe elaborate on how you're incorporating values, the strengths and weaknesses into the whole design of business to ensure long-term success?
Absolutely. So first of all, I would like to say what I appreciate about what I'm doing is I come from a personal development slash life design thing first, and then entrepreneurship. And what that means is I have the experience of running a business. I've been running it for a bunch of years now, right? And I have customers all over the world, and I have the headaches every other entrepreneur has with customer support and all of these things, technical issues, and ads that don't go the way that you want them to, and all these things. So I understand what it's like to be a business owner, specifically an online business owner. And I also have the personal development skills or insights or lessons that I've learned. So I kind of connect these. And for me, I see a lot of entrepreneurs that are killing it. Actually, I see two different things. Either the entrepreneurs killing it in business, but they're neglecting other areas of their lives. This can be their health, this can be their relationships, this can be their hobbies, this can be their friendships from when they were children, whatever. It can be a lot of things that are actually important to them. And these are values. These are what I talk about when I say values. I'll get into the details of that as well if we want to. And so that's one thing, people that are making eight figures with their online business, but they have to close down the business because they're just not sustainable for their lives, or maybe they're just not enjoying themselves. The other thing, which I don't know if that's worse or not, but that is the business is struggling because everything else is not working. So the business is struggling because the owner doesn't have the energy. He's not making the right decisions because he's already always stressed or burned out. He's not, every call he takes, he has to compete with his family or whatever. So his life is not aligned. His values are not in there. It's only the business. So whether your business is successful or not, I absolutely recommend doing what I do with clients, which is designing a life where not just your business, but all the other important areas of your life are entangled. And to answer your question about the values, the way we do it is we say, okay, if your life is the tabletop, and then you have certain legs of this tabletop, those legs are your values. Now, some of these values we all share. I think most people would like to be healthy. Most people would like to have, if they're married, they would like to have a good marriage, obviously. But then there are other things that mean more to others, also some than others. So an example of this could be, for me, one of my values in life is confidence. Confidence is very important to me. I'm a better businessman, a better boyfriend, a better brother, a better everything when I feel confident. I'm happier when I'm confident. I'm less stressed. Everything in my life, my quality of life is better when I'm confident. Whereas if you ask my mother, she doesn't really care too much about confidence. She cares more about maybe something else. Um, and these are the values that I like to design my life and my business around, instead of having a business and then I try to design my life around that business, and hopefully we can cram maybe a little bit of this value in here. And oh, wait, that doesn't fit. Okay, maybe we put it here instead, then we'll call it a day. I like to go the other way around.
I quite like that because so many people would maybe look at an entrepreneur that they like and they just want to maybe emulate or copy who they are, values and all. And maybe the things that they're doing or the way they do certain things are not aligned to who you are as a person. And maybe geographically, it doesn't work in the part of the world that you live in and things of that nature. Now, so many other entrepreneurs sort of rely on just willpower in and of itself and maybe motivation. All right. But you have transcended that because there's so many things that need to be going at the same time. Like you say, if it's a tabletop, all the legs have to be straight and nothing has to be wobbly. But for you to maintain that table without it wobbling, right? It needs to have systems or processes to make sure that you're maintaining it and you can actually do it over and over again. Now, can we maybe dive into how you approach this? Because you call yourself a systems guy, and how this approach has actually contributed to your success and how it can actually benefit other business owners.
Exactly. I'm very much a systems guy. I don't need to be the hardest working person in the room, even though I certainly do work hard. I have my 80-hour weeks, just like a lot of other people do, and all of that. But I don't need to be the smartest guy. I don't need to be the guy with the best relationships, even though all of these things, or the best network, I mean, all these things are valuable. But I understand if I'm the guy in the room with the best systems, the best routines, the best habits, you could say, but systems is a better word. I believe I'm going to crush everyone else that maybe is the hardest worker or is the smartest person or whatever. And the reason for that is if you're running on things like willpower, motivation, things like that, they're not useless. They have their time and place, but I would like to rely on them as little as I possibly can. I would like to rely much more on, like I say, systems. So how does that work? Well, you take your values, right? So let's say you have the confidence value. First of all, I would like to dive deeper into the confidence value. What does that mean? Does that mean you do your best at work, or is it when you look good, you feel confident, or is it when you're doing well socially? So you can dive pretty deep into these values. Anyway, you find the weak link, you find one of these values that are important to you, but you're not performing how you'd like to be performing with them. And then that's what you build the system around. So let's say one of your values is health, and one of the things that gives you the feeling of health is having an appropriate amount of muscle mass. So you'd like to increase muscle mass because right now you have none, maybe. Let's say that's it. Something you can do to bridge the gap between where you are and where you'd like to go, right? From no muscle mass to the amount of muscle mass that you want, is you can lift weights. Now, that's what I call the a bridge the gap activity, and that is what we will aim to systemize. Now, an example of something that's not systemized is what most people are doing in the, let's say, the fitness industry is saying, I'll go to the gym, I'll work out when I'm happy and I have energy and I have time and the stars align and and I understand we have a lot on our plate. But the guy that has a system or the woman that has a system and says, I'll work out for 45 minutes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on my way home from work. That's the person you should be afraid of because that's the person that will show up in 3 months and you will not be able to recognize them. I've seen this in gyms. People working out in 4 months, they have more results than people working out in 4 years because there's the systems, the consistency versus the I'll do it whenever I feel like. Which essentially you can say that's the systems versus willpower and motivation, right? Willpower and motivation is fleeting. It's something sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't have it. So rely on systems instead. Yeah.
I like that because I remember when we bought our house, me and my wife, before the kids came in, we were tossing and turning and tossing each other the broom, so to speak. Ah, you sweep today. Ah, you clean that part. And then the house would just not be cleaned. And, dirt will just pile up. And as soon as one of our first girls came in, I just put a line in the sand and I said, every Saturday the house should be spick and span because the little girl was crawling in and then just picking up whatever. And that in and of itself just started creating now what is now a family ritual where every Saturday everybody wakes up, we have breakfast, and we're cleaning the house. And it's no longer a job. It is now just part of what we're doing. And now that really explains sort of what systems are like. And I like how you mentioned how you don't want to be the hardest worker in the room because so many people exert so much energy on the one thing and then they flat out throughout the whole of the year, and eventually that one strike no longer counts for anything. But in our society, Daniel, hard work is always seen as that one key to success because everybody hears the story of Elon Musk working 27 hours a day and 8 days a week, and then they think, oh my god, this is who I'm supposed to be, so I'm gonna go in for 30 hours a day and 9 days a week, and before you know it, people flat out and they burn out. Now you've got a totally different way of doing this. Could you tell maybe something that you've completely systemized and how you've actually done that, because some people may not be able to understand how this actually works?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, about your broom situation, you said it's no longer a job. Another thing it's also no longer is it's no longer a decision. And that is very powerful. And I'm an entrepreneur, I make decisions, but I would like to make as few decisions as possible. If something's automatic, that's better for me. Um, so I have an example that I like to use because I do a lot of boxing and MMA and Muay Thai, all of these things. I do a lot of martial arts. And the analogy that I usually use is whichever fighter you take. I don't care which fighter, if it's some top-ranked fighter or if it's me or if it's you. If you take a fighter and you put him in the ring 100 times per day, I don't care how good he is, he's going to lose a substantial amount of those. Maybe some fighters would lose 20, maybe some would lose 70, but no one wins 100 fights in the ring every day. Yet that's what most people do, and this goes for the normal person, it also goes for online business people. Every single thing throughout the day is a decision, right? You wake up, should I snooze or should I not? Okay, I snoozed. Next time, should I snooze again? Yeah, no, maybe now I'll get up. Should I put on my running shoes and go for a run, or should I go to the couch? Should I eat oatmeal or should I eat some Candy Crunch, whatever it's called? Should I, everything is a decision, and you just fighting yourself 100 times per day on your business, on your, it is, especially in business sometimes. Or should I fire that email or not? Or should I send that email or not? Should I do this podcast? Should I do that? So many decisions. And like I said, I just try to systematize all of that as much as possible. And to give you an example of systems, well, I have systems for just about everything. I have morning routines, I have evening routines, I have routines for, and this is going to sound very strict. It's not. But I like to have routines for when I'm meal prepping, what I'm eating for lunch, um, what I'm doing for work, like what time of day am I doing emails, what time of day am I doing this and that, and so I actually have systems for just about everything that matters to me in my life.
Interesting. And with all of this, you have created your passion for achievement, set up here. Tell us a little bit about what that is, and what your major aim for this passion for achievement is.
Absolutely. So Passion for Achievement originally started in kind of a I want to help everyone with every kind of personal development. And I help people and I had some great testimonials from that and it was great. But I just over time I noticed I steered more and more towards helping people that were entrepreneurs and freelancers because they understand me, I understand them, and also I know more about designing a life when you're an entrepreneur versus when if you're a banker. So today, what Passion for Achievement is, we have free PDFs, we have paid ebooks, we have some courses, we can also access me, um, where we basically help online entrepreneurs design a world-class life, just like I decided I wanted to do for myself back then. Now, when I talk about personal development and caring about other areas of an entrepreneur's life, a lot of entrepreneurs will kind of get defensive and be like, no, 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 I can't take my eyes off the ball. I can't um, stop working on my business to sit in a corner and feel my emotions or whatever. And it's like, no, 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 that's not at all what I'm saying. Very, very often, the business owner that has a life designed around quality of life and health and abundance, they have more energy, they make better decisions, they're more focused, they can actually sometimes work even more hours and still have all these other things. And so their business will soar. I've very often found a business, especially an online business where you're one employee or you're one just a solopreneur, very often the bottleneck is the entrepreneur. So it's not that you should sacrifice business growth to make yourself happy or feel good. No, no, no. It's we're doing this in part to make your business skyrocket. And to not, to prevent stress and overwhelm and burnout because some people are actually closing their doors on eight-figure businesses because yeah, so I wanna I wanna make sure that doesn't happen.
Absolutely. And I can imagine, going back to your table analogy, so many people have wobbly feet because they haven't really done the work that is essential. Yes, they've done the skill set of producing the entrepreneurial venture, but they haven't actually done, the internal work that needs to happen. And I think this presents a lot of wasted potential, and it's happening at a global level. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I 100% agree. That was actually the main reason I started Passion for Achievement was I saw a lot of wasted potential in the world. And what I mean by that is you can take just about everyone, your brother, your best friend, the cashier at the grocery store, the big entrepreneur, and I just feel like, man, this person could have more and be more and do more. Not in a way where they're just forcing themselves to push further and no, but actually you could design things smarter. And back to what you said about hard work is the key. That's a lot of people go with that. I can absolutely debunk that right now. Hard work is not the key. I learned that from when I was growing up with my mother, my single mother. She worked 50, 60-hour work weeks every week at the local grocery store, and we never had any kind of success other than we loved each other. If hard work was the key, what do you say to the cleaning lady in Bolivia working 16-hour days? If hard work is the key, then I'll just go to the local warehouse. I'll ask them if I can sweep their floors with my toothbrush. You know, it'll take 300 hours. It'll be a lot of hard work. I'll have sore knees, sore back. I'll be dirty. I'll be exhausted. It'll be a lot of hard work, but it's of no value to anyone. There are people out there that in 10 minutes make more money than people that work 16 hours per day for 20 years. It's insane. And so hard work is not the key. What I will say though is some kind of hard work is a necessity. So instead of hard work being the thing that gives you everything you want, I more view hard work as the thing that allows you to even compete for everything you want. Like it's the barrier of entry. I think a lot of people that I admire had some kind of hard work involved at some point in their career, and I work hard as well. So I'm not saying hard work should be completely illegal, forbidden, or anything, but it's certainly not the key. The key is doing the right things consistently. So you identify your values, you identify what exactly you're trying to fix, you identify the activity that in doing the activity, you bridge the gap between where you are, where you want to go on the thing you're trying to fix, and then you build a system around that. And this goes for everything, but especially business. I think clarity is huge, and that's what you get with all these values and systems. And yeah.
Absolutely. I think so many people major in minor things and they think we're doing a lot. And, they keep focusing on that. It's like trying to push a square wheel up a hill. And, some people are coming in with an electric, wheel and they're saying, hey, use this. But they're saying, no, we want to make sure that we have everything going. And I like what you said about going to Bolivia and sweeping their floors with a toothbrush. I actually had a visualization of that, and
Nice.
hopefully you're not going to be using that toothbrush in your mouth because hey, the cavities that will come with that, you never know what you pick up. Now, what would people be able to get from you if they are engaged or started working with you, and how can they start this process?
Yeah, so the first step of everything we do, whether that's a free PDF or it's working with me personally, would be some sort of clarity. We would actually map out what are your values, what are your ingredients of those values. Like I said, with the confidence, there are many things that can make you confident. And then we would completely like do the clarity piece, and then we would kind of pick one thing and build a system out of that. So there are many ways we can do that. I put a 100% free PDF. It's called the Seven Pillars of a World-Class Life. It's kind of a clarity tool for what we're talking about here. It's on the website, and there's no email update or anything, or I'm gonna call you 6 days a week or anything after you sign up. There's nothing, no sign up, anything. It's just grab it and enjoy it. And then, of course, if people were interested, I would love to have them book a call with me. I'll take a look at what they're doing, what they need help with, completely free, no hard sales pitch or anything. I just help, and then yeah, you kind of decide whether you want to go with a free PDF or some other free content or ebook or my personal help. But regardless whether you work with me in any capacity or not, I recommend everyone to work on their clarity. If you can, you should build kind of a vision for what your life should look like, where you in clear detail know exactly what it is that you want. Because most people know what they don't want, but very few know what they want.
Absolutely. And what would be the best way? You did mention your website. Could you just spell it out so that people can, follow through?
Absolutely. So the website is passionforachievement.com. And that's the number four. So passion, the number four, achievement.com.
Fantastic. I'll definitely make sure that those information and that link is in the show notes. Any other social media places where people can also find you, or?
Not yet. You can absolutely search for my name, Daniel Hauge. I will be on Instagram. I will, in the very near future, I will pop up on just about all social medias, but I will admit I haven't gotten to it yet. But if you search my name, eventually I will pop up on TikTok, on Netflix, sorry, not Netflix, on Instagram, on X, all these things, and I will do my best to provide a ton of value there. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you have provided a lot of value for us on this episode here. But I wanted us to go back to that holiday place with you and your boys. And each and every one of them was talking about how they wanted to reach 90 years of age, and you only wanted to reach 21. What would you now say if you were to revise that statement? And then the people would ask you, hey, Daniel, how long do you want to survive? And tell us, how do you plan to get there?
I understand that I can get hit by a bus or I can get some freak sickness or whatever, but I'm definitely aiming for I want to be a centenarian, so I want to be on the other side of 100, and I'm doing everything I can to make that happen. You know, I take care of my diet, take care of my exercise. I'm very oppositional to everything drugs and everything like that, obviously, right, with my past. So I'm not going to touch any of that ever. And so I think I got some things going for me on the health side there. But yeah, that would be awesome. I love life now.
Fantastic. And Daniel, if you know, younger you would have come across somebody like yourself and you now become an inspiration to them, what would you tell them right now? And you know, what sort of advice would you give him at that moment in his life?
Ooh, that actually gave me a little bit of goosebumps when you said if younger Danny came to me right now. Um, what I would do is I would tell him to imagine a life that was not just worth living, but absolutely incredible. I would sit him down and I would say, look, what kind of health would you want? Okay, nice. We'll write that down. What kind of career would you want? Okay, cool. We like this down. And then when we have this all jotted down, I'll ask him this life right here. If you had a magic wand and you can make that happen, would this be not just worth living, but would this be world class to you? Would this be a world class life where you'd wake up in the morning and be like, man, is this still my life? I can't believe it. You know? Is this the life? And he says yes. Then I'll say, cool, then make it happen. You know, and I think once you have that, there's hope. I think there's clarity. I think there's more there's thicker skin when you're in adversity because you know why you're doing what you're doing. And I think it just has a huge list of benefits when you have this vision.
Fantastic. Now, Daniel, I'm very intrigued to want to know a lot about what you've got in store for yourself now that you want to create this world-class life. So let's say, you know, the 25th of January, you've just turned 100 and you've become this centenarian that you are, and you're like, hey, Prosper, are you still in Australia? And I'll be like, oh man, I don't know if I can move. Let's just jump on a Zoom call, you know, and yeah, let's you know, reminisce. What would you be updating me on?
I would say I made it happen. You know, I would say I would probably take one area of my life, one at a time. Maybe my health. Hopefully, I would be, you know, beating my grandkids at soccer and stuff like that. You know, I'd traveled the world. I would have seen everything I wanted to see. And career-wise, I have this thing. Maybe it's weird, but I'll share it with you. I have this fantasy of one day, you know, I let's say I'm on vacation to France or something, somewhere in the world, and I'm at a cafe and I leave the cafe, I go around the corner and someone comes up to me and goes, "Wait, are you Daniel?" Yeah. Well, I 6 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 12 years ago, whatever, I bought this course, or I worked with you, or I saw you on the Prosper podcast, or whatever, and it did this for me, and this, and this, and that. And so I just want to thank you. I want passion for achievement and my message to be at that level where I can like move around in the world and actually meet people I've impacted in some way. That's the level I want to work towards.
That that is a big and audacious goal, because if you can make somebody else's life better, and if you're just walking on the street like you say and somebody shakes you and say, hey, Daniel, because of you I did not give up, I think that will be remarkable. And I tell you what, you've already done that with the Online Prosperity Show right now. You literally have blown my mind, and I think the people that are going to be watching this will be repeating every time they want to get inspiration and motivation, but they would now create a system around the way that they approach creating a world class life. Well, thank you so much there for a world class talk, for what you've just allowed us to experience. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with all this information and who you're becoming, my man.
Thank you, man. This has been incredible. I'm extremely grateful to be here.
Absolutely. And there you have it, folks. Another enlightening episode of the Online Prosperity Show. Be sure to check out the next one from Daniel when he's 100. And we're interviewing him and we're asking him to tell us what his pledge was and how he went. Hopefully, what we're creating here would outlast me, and the people that are going to be running this show would definitely be there in time for him to celebrate his 100 years of living a world-class life. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Daniel, thank you so much, my man, for sharing this inspiration to us and actually just giving us a framework and a system to follow, because so many of us fall flat, especially when it comes to motivation and wanting to do more for ourselves because we don't follow a system. And I think what you've just told us, especially the part about the values and the table metaphor, is something that will definitely stick with a lot of people. And I want you to have an understanding that we're living a world-class life is like showering. You don't do it only once. It's something that you have to continuously do all the time, because if you start smelling, nobody wants to be around you, and that's not world-class. And if you're looking for ways to eliminate all this wasted potential that Daniel is aiming to eradicate and design a life that actually aligns with your vision, I encourage you to connect with Daniel. Like you said, he's going to live up to 100. He'll be there for a while. Now, thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today. Until next time, this has been Prosper and Daniel. We're signing off. Bye for now.